What is up, heroes? This is Midnight Zero, and this is a little afterthought about the SFL. Yes, it's only like 20 or 30 minutes after I finish the finals. If you haven't seen the finals, which is this match, I'm going to be just playing in the background really here for just a visual, something to look at. Please do check it out. It's a really good match. Would highly recommend you do so. Really high level play. I've got a video on my channel, of course, and Sam will have one on his eventually. So do check it out. And if you don't want to know the result, please do check it out because you will get spoiled by this video. All right, there's your spoiler warning. Sorry, my voice is a little scratchy from all of the finals match. But I did want to give some thoughts on everything I learned from the SFL, and I wanted to give a big thank you to Sam. Sam, if you don't know, is the person who ran the SFL. So he organized it from the very beginning. He had been wanting to do his own league. He wanted to do a whole bunch of things. He wanted to test out some certain mons that were kind of on the borderline, some that seemed broken in preparation for the NCPL, which is coming. And he wanted to have more Pokemon going in between the second season of the TGFA, which then eventually became the NCPL. So thank you to Sam for hosting that. He made an incredible Google Doc that he ran and maintained super well, and really kudos to you. And yeah, I learned a lot about myself through this league too. I didn't really know a lot about Gen 7. My first league match in this league was my very first time playing a Gen 7 match, which is kind of crazy. But I learned a lot about the mons involved. I learned a lot of what, the new mons bring to the counter team format, which will be really helpful moving on. I learned a lot about my own play style, right? You guys heard me complain every single match about hyper offense, and yeah, that reveals a lot. I did get pretty good at it. I started off with a struggle. It was a struggle team building. It was a struggle getting my mind around the paradigm of hyper offense and prepping accordingly and then playing accordingly. I like playing safer, and so I needed to get used to playing risky, and I did get better at it. I still wasn't perfect, and I think in the end it did bite me a little bit during the finals, but I at least know that about myself. I know how I play in hyper offense. I know the stress, I know the pressure, and I know the style. And it's not that I can't do it. I can do it okay. I can do it pretty well, decently well at least, but I'm not comfortable with it, and I don't prefer it. And that's definitely good to know. In particular, there were a couple times where I lost, and each time I learned a bit from it. In particular with Silvally, that was like an ordeal in and of itself. And I do still feel like I wrongly lost that because I should have known what type Silvally was ahead of time. But with regards to, I think the other loss, that was me getting emotional. That was me not really thinking things through completely and giving myself the best odds at winning towards the end. And then in the finals, spoiler alert, I lost. And that was a really well fought match. Sam played super well, and thinking back on it, there were some unlucky rolls, right? There was a little bit of parahacks. There was, what's it called? There was the Clefable roll. There was the paralysis with the Mach Punch, which I had a chance of living probably, or which he had a chance of. He was like really strong in his favor to live, but obviously there's always a chance for crit and stuff. But that sort of hacks shouldn't have really mattered in the first place, because there were some plays I made that were just simply incorrect, and plays that Sam made that were just stellar. I played really safely throughout the beginning of the game and slowly gave him more and more of an advantage after that first turn, and it eventually came back to bite me. He made some incredible plays like Dragon Claw against my Xurkitree, which allowed his Zard to maintain its healthy status. And later on in the game, I know I overemphasized how strong Greninja was at that point and was too afraid of it when it wasn't even in Battle Bond form yet. So I could have probably sacked Scizor to get more recoil damage off on Charizard, and that would have been a lot easier for Gengar to KO it with something like Shadow Ball or Sludge Wave a lot more confidently. I could have gone for Sludge Wave, although that had its own things, but I really should have gone for a Destiny Bond with Gengar. Like I mentioned in the video itself, I didn't weigh the expectation into the equation well enough, because he probably anticipates 4 attacks. and knows that he lives any one of them and goes for an attack and kills me. But he probably didn't anticipate the Destiny Bond. If he anticipated the Destiny Bond, it was a lot more of a 50-50 than I gave myself credit for. But I really should have, that option should have had a higher probability of success in my mind than I was thinking at the time. And so that's another thing I should have considered, is I should get better at weighing the other players' expectations into my, like, probabilities that I talk about a ton during these matches. And going forward, that'll be really helpful. These sorts of probabilities aren't going to be as important as I play a safer playstyle in the future, but they do matter every single turn. Weighing expectations versus, or like pretty much expected outcomes, or expected value, if you're familiar with probability. And that's what I should incorporate more. I wasn't accounting for status. I simply, it didn't cross my mind that I could let Pokemon get paralyzed, and that I should keep up the misty terrain longer rather than just try to keep Tapu Fini healthy. So that was a thing as well. I did make some good plays, but Sam outplayed me. And when it comes to hyper offense, that's what he did. He played hyper offense better than I did. So again, I'm not really too salty about the match. I have some regrets, right? Like, I know I could have played a little bit better, especially those couple plays I mentioned. But it's not like he didn't play well. It's not like he didn't earn it, right? Outside of that, I like having switch-ins. That's something I noticed a lot throughout the season. I love having switch-ins to Mons, where I know I can take a hit, I can have reliable recovery, I can force something out, I can get little bits of chip damage. I love having hazards, and I love having switch-ins. So going forward, I know I'm going to really like my bulky offense. I know I've tried a couple other styles now, especially in the league format. I don't think hyper offense is as viable in the league format as a safer play style like bulky offense or even stall is. And why is that? That's because of the nature of hyper offense with its high risk, high reward sort of status. In a league where you can't predict very well what your opponent's going to do, where your opponent has more flexibility and creativity than the typical showdown ladder, I think those sorts of risk rewards favor the risk side. And overall, I think it throws it out of balance and makes hyper offense just not as viable of a playstyle in counter league format. So I know it's something I'm going to try to avoid, or I can at the very least take advantage of against opponents that are trying to run hyper offense, because it is always scary. But at the end of the day, it's I don't think it's not as safe, it's not as viable for an unpredictable format like league format. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't really think there was too much else that I learned a lot about. I like having some varied speed tiers. I learned that I really liked Mega Scizor, and I really like having bulky waters. I really like Mega Scizor for momentum. Volt Switch was really helpful on Circuitry. U-Turn was really helpful on Mega Scizor. I don't think, or I helped show that Circuitry isn't broken in League format, especially when because it can be prepared for, all that sort of thing. That's really all there is to it, I think. I want to say that I really was happy to test out some things from like a production value standpoint. This is the first season I tried doing the team builders where I have like the little like almost like slideshow with the stats and like the animated Pokemon in the center and like the cool background, and I think it looks a lot nicer, and I was happy to, for the first time, try to step it up like that, right? And I'm planning on doing more of that in the NCPL, so be sure to look out for that when that does finally happen, which will be next week actually. So be sure to look forward to those videos. But yeah, I think that's all there really is. I can't really think of too much else to say that is immediately coming to mind. I also think I showed that Gengar should probably still be OU, or at least like A tier in the NCPL's rankings. I hope you guys enjoyed the SFL. I know it was a bit of a roller coaster, and that's part of the nature of like my team, but also just the matches themselves were kind of up and down. My record was kind of up and down, and I want to hear some feedback from you guys. What did you guys think of my playstyle? What did you guys think of my matches? Did you guys enjoy watching them? Did you enjoy watching them more than the TGFA? If you did watch the TGFA ones because of the team style or something like that. What did you guys notice about me? What do you guys think that I should be learning about myself from this experience that I might not have already touched on. I would appreciate that sort of thing too. So yeah, that would be good to know. Oh man, I'm looking at the replay now. This part here, this is the play that got me, I think. That's the play that got me. The size. But regardless, I do feel like taking this, I can get better as I go on. I'm glad that I realized, what I did wrong more so than anything. So that's all there really is to say. Thanks again to Sam for setting it up. It was a lot of fun. It had its ups and downs, but overall it was really fun. It was a really good Pokemon experience. It really prepped me for the new generation. It really gave me some variety in my playstyle. It gave me a better understanding of a new playstyle that I just simply hadn't really ventured into before because I didn't think I'd like it, and I don't like it, but I'm better at it, and I feel like I better understand it, and that's an important understanding to have too. So thanks, Sam. And thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you guys' continued support, and I hope you guys continue to cheer for the Chicago Muse in the NCPL. But until then, this has been Midnight Zero, and this mission is complete.